team. Perth, Australia. Welcome to my live broadcast today. It's pretty cold at the moment, so just trying to warm my fingers up. So yeah, welcome to my live broadcast. And today my topic is, it's a bit of a old-fashioned one, but it is, and now it begins. And you'll understand what I mean about that as I keep talking. But I have to tell you, Jules and Pico yesterday totally enjoyed her live broadcast. And I get what she was saying. I totally get what she was saying. Good afternoon, Doc Joe. Thank you for joining me. So one of the funniest things about Jules and me is we speak to each other every weekend, and like we make sure we're cousins by blood, and we always get together. Well, not physically, because she's in New Zealand and I'm in Perth, Australia, but over the internet, and we just pick each other up, and you know, we just compare diseases, not illnesses, diseases. She has cancer, I have a heart disease, so we're busy there comparing our diseases, going through whatever medication we are. And like what she was showing you in her live broadcast yesterday, I totally get where she's coming from, because sometimes I feel like throwing all my medication out the window. The only one who is making big dollars off both of us is the pharmaceutical companies, because we certainly aren't. So beautiful broadcast she did yesterday. Well done to you, Jules. So now, yesterday was the first time I actually heard it, but it came on. This is the 9 AM news in Perth, Australia, yesterday, and I don't know why they would put it on that time, because it wasn't on the news, early morning news, or it wasn't on the news the day before. So to pick 9 AM when absolutely it is rush hour for mothers and toddlers, it is, you know, if you're a white-collar worker, you're already at work. Not many people watch TV that hour of the morning, because, you know, you're busy. You're always busy doing something. But the news media here in Perth announced that the government has now gone into with the Centrelink. Now, Centrelink is the Australian social welfare system. That's the name of the social welfare system, you know, government department. It's Centrelink. And Centrelink controls all pensions or all beneficiary payments or all social welfare payments of any kind. Okay. In New Zealand, it's called WINS. Well, yesterday they announced on the 9 AM news that government department, Centrelink government department, will now insist that all beneficiaries of any kind have to have their facial photo ID taken. There is only 2 departments where you must have your photo ID. One is in your passport and the other is in your driver's license. So to now have your photo taken so you can receive your pension, because if you do not have your photo taken, you will not get your pension, no matter which pension or benefit you are on. I thought, my God, And now it begins. So when that came on the 9 AM news, you know, I thought, I quickly rang up my husband and I said to him, you're never gonna guess. And I said, they've announced it. This is a start. You remember a couple of months back, they had the chip. They were, you know, the media had followed this young guy around. He had a chip inserted into his hand and he was busy waving his hand in front of the barcode to open doors. He thought it was innate that he could open the door to walk through a business with the wave of his hand. Do they not think that chip contains all the information about you with Centrelink? Excuse me. And my daughter has arrived to pick up their water. It's in the garage in the outside fridge. And I bought your water bottle too. So that chip contained every detail about him that Centrelink had. Now, if he was an Australian citizen, his mum would have registered him as when he was a baby. So from that age to him waving his hand in front of the door, and he had this big smile on his face, and he says, that was great. Does he not realise? Or did he just conveniently forget about all the history? This is it, people. I mean, no matter where you are, once you are dependent on social welfare, well, any kind, you are in the government department system. Okay, you cannot get away from it. Even when you say, if you were unemployed and then you ring them up and says, I am now working. So they will stop your payments. They will never, ever, ever delete your details from the system. No. Why? Because they want to find you later on. Or you may, there may be a time where, you know, you could no longer work or you got injured at work, so you had to go back on the pension of some kind. They just restart your benefit again, and then bang, they've got you again. So when this happens, one moment please. Was it just these two? Yeah. Just those two. I forgot to tell you, when you drink this at work, they have it in these kind of bottles so the sunlight don't get it.
Yeah, we got one of those.
Cool. Oh, have you? Yeah. You want this one?
Did you buy it for me?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have it.
Okay.
No.
Thank you. You're welcome. Oh, you right, babe? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I am so sorry about that, but I'll tell you about what she's just taken, because Jules was talking about it yesterday. So now getting back to what I was saying about photo ID and you being in the system and the chip. Okay, photo ID. They always said that they were going to bring it out. I just didn't know exactly when. And since they were sneaky and then just announced it like that, they're going to give you zero time as to when they're going to start chipping everybody. I would say within the next 6 months. It's been 2 months, 3 months since they announced, went live about the chip. It is now, pardon me, 3 months since then. Now we're into the photo. They're announcing that everybody has to have their photo taken. You do not have your photo taken and you are a social welfare beneficiary, you do not get your benefit. Now, get the feeling they are hurting anybody and everybody that is a social welfare dependent person into a corner. The government is herding them up into a corner somewhere. Get that feeling, because I do. I was watching other videos by Mike Maloney, and he was talking. I was watching about the money illusion, hidden secrets of money. Really, really interesting. I love watching videos by him because he really opens my eyes about the past, the present, and the future, all connected with the elite. So it's pretty disgusting, actually. But what can we do? Now, in saying that, okay, my mind is racing 100 miles an hour because of my daughter at the moment. And with this announcement of having photo ID, remember the chip came out on TV about 3 months ago in New Zealand. I was in New Zealand. I'd just come back from Middlemore Hospital, and at the time they went live with, I can't remember if it was a young man or a young woman who had been chipped, okay? Now, and what she was on the train and she was waving her hands in front of those, those ticket machines or barcode things. And I remember she was waving her hand there to say that she had paid her train fare. So I was in New Zealand exactly when that happened on TV. I'm back in Perth, and this is what's happening with the photo ID. Now, you know that they're going to start, once they've got people herded into an area and saying, right, have your photo taken or no ID. It's just like 2 things that you must have your photo taken in, and that is driver's license and passports by law. Well, now they've brought out another one. So there are a few things that is going on in the world of money, and one of them, and I wish I had seen that video, is it's called the Byzantine General Problem. So if you ever get a chance, watch that video, because it's got to do with, I think, Bitcoin. Now, what has all this got to do with what I do? It has a lot to do with it. It really does. Because, with what the Australian government has is just announced, that they really are targeting a certain percentage of people, which in my calculation, that would be about 80% of the whole of Australia, 80 to 90%, in some way, receives a benefit of some kind. Even the richy rich, they receive it, which is a bit laughable if you ask me. So you've got this social welfare system, and you know, I went up every Tuesdays and Thursdays. I belonged to a little, it was through friends. You meet other friends at the mall, in the food court, and they're Kiwis, and you start talking to them. And next minute you go up and you have a cup of coffee, have a cup of tea, and you start talking, and you keep going back just to keep that rapport, that Kiwi rapport with each other. And we talk about the grandparents, the children, the sons and daughters, the grandchildren, and in some cases the great-grandchildren that come along. But this morning, in our morning get-together, I was like talking about, oh, that's right, I mentioned about the, because they're all pensioners. They're pensioners. They're, the bulk of them are 65 plus. So as soon as I mentioned about the photo ID for their pensions, if they don't have the photo ID, they don't get the pension, their face went from happiness to shock. Because they know once it's announced in the media, it's going to happen. And they don't have a backup plan yet. And it was quite disheartening to see the looks on their faces when we were talking about this conversation. We're all sitting there and we're discussing about how cold it is, or, is it going to rain this afternoon? And yes, it is going to rain out here, and so forth and so forth. But when it gets to money and pensioners, my heart really goes out to them because they didn't have a backup plan yet. Why I say yet is the daughter of one of them, who I am in another group with. She asked me, how's that coin of yours going? Yeah. When she mentions the coin, she's talking about this one. Okay. Now, I got a shock when she said that. I said, how's that coin of yours going? And I said, it's going really well. And I thanked her for asking. And then because I know I'm going to sit down and talk further about this coin. Okay. Then was not the right time. And I know she will go back to her parents with what me and her discuss, because at that talk we were discussing about our other business. So I hate bringing too many businesses into a discussion, because then what we were there for kind of gets lost in the conversation. So, and I said to her, there is a way, there is a safeguard, there is a way. So, because I was looking at the look on her father, on his face, on the old man's face, and I have that look. If you ever see somebody who's literally got a shock at the table and their face goes totally blank, he's worried. So it was a little bit overwhelming for her. And I said, and I didn't think she would ask me about the billion coin, because I tried to talk to her about it before. But when she suddenly came up and asked me, how's that coin of yours doing? I thought, she's worried too. So we will get into a discussion about that coin. And I actually said to another TBC member, I said, you know, there is one population that we haven't tapped into. And I said, New Zealand is beating Australia when it comes to TBC membership. And we both agreed. And I said, but the thing is, when you're in New Zealand, you're in such a smaller area, a contained area, that you can go from the East Coast to the West Coast in a matter of hours. But here in Australia, to get from the East Coast to the West Coast takes days. And you know, you can drive it. I've done it. I don't like to do it. Wouldn't want to do it again unless I'm going right around the circumference of Australia. But yes. So we're going to have that discussion about the billion coin. Now, I also wanted to talk about the meeting after the meeting that happened early hours this morning. Oh my God, that was what time? About 2:30 AM Perth time when Randy had his meeting. As for the 7-button meeting, that was brilliant. Can't talk about it. But Randy's meeting after the meeting, that was really, really good. Yes, I was very sad to see that all the titles had been taken away from our top 10 leaders. But I truly believe they are better off without those titles. Okay. And for them, being leaders this brings them down to where we are. Also, they do not become targets. For when you've got a title over your head, you are a target to anybody, whether it's government, Centrelink, taxes, any you know, creditors, or in this case, debitors. Anybody that's got a title on their head is usually, it's like, here I am. But I'm so glad that they don't have that title, because it means that they are free to be who they are and get that message about TBC out there. Now, and this is it. I was having a conversation this morning. I said, right, the TBC 004 account is all behind me now. What's in front is the 009 and getting new, I was going to say bums on seats, but can't say that, new people on board. It's a little bit overwhelming, the challenge, but it's not difficult. It's because when you, and this is the trick, when the coin was created to bring mankind out of poverty, okay? Mankind out of poverty. Now, those 4 words, where are they? Where would you find those people mainly? Mankind out of poverty. You are really looking for, and you know, you are really looking for the poor people to uplift them out of poverty. Because the educated people are already receiving some kind of income or another, whether it's through social welfare benefit or anything. They are already receiving dollars in pockets. Not all of them, and not a lot of the dollars in pockets, but they are receiving something. So compared to the homeless, to the starving, the coin was created to lift mankind out of poverty. When you go to the membership and you look at where the majority of the people where the members are the highest in numbers. It's all in our third world countries. There's nothing wrong with that. This is what the coin is created for. So in saying that, I said this morning to one of our TBC members, I said, Australia has a really huge population that needs uplifting, because what's just been announced about the photo ID is going to knock them down even further. Unless we can find a way to get to them, speak to them, and show them the way that TBC, the billion coin, is there for them. Now, me personally, I find that a big challenge. Actually, talking to, I find talking a challenge, actually, but once I get into a flow, it is, then it just flows out, I suppose. But so my challenge to myself is taking TBC, the billion coin, to the Indigenous people of Australia. You just can't walk up to them and do that. They themselves, the Aboriginal people of Australia, also, believe it or not, have a caste system that they go by. You just can't talk about TBC to anybody. You've got to ask permission. Like I know for the whole of WA, that's half the country. The whole of WA belongs to one tribe. One tribe herds the whole of WA, okay? Within that one tribe, there are several different layers. Okay. Within all those layers, there are several different languages too within all that. So, like I said, I want to tap into that, but sometimes it's so big, it's daunting. And then where do you start? So I was talking to somebody else today, and tomorrow we're going to make a start. We're just going to knock on the door and see where it takes us. So it's a challenge. I know it's going to be a challenge. I know it's hard because I have Aboriginal friends. I love these people. And sometimes I remember I was in Kalgoorlie one time and I was just sitting. It was a real hot day and I was sitting in the bar. My husband was having a pint. I was having a glass of Coke, I suppose. And the bay windows was wide open. And then this Aboriginal elder walked by the window, saw me, spun around and came back. And he came right up to me. I got a bit of a shock actually. And didn't even look at my husband because he's Pākehā, by the way. But came right up to me and he said, I respect you, lady. I respect you. I did not know what he meant by that. It's taken me a long time to understand what he meant by that. But I've never forgotten what he said. And to this day, I still remember what he looks like. And not very many people. I have one of those memories that I'm totally useless with names, faces. Well, if I was 20 years younger, instant. I remember her face. Now, today, getting a little bit difficult to remember faces, but his face I remember. So the challenge, I put a challenge to myself, is to go. We've got one that in Journal up here. Go and have a conversation. I need to have a conversation with these people because I need to bring them on board, because I know what's coming for the Aboriginal people. It will be the same. If the government in Australia has started to do this, then you can bet New Zealand will follow. So, that's right. I was going to tell you why my daughter came. But before that, let's go and see. The beautiful Serenes has dropped in today. Lovely to see you as always, Serenes. What's Dr. Joe saying? I still believe that New Zealand can't be the beginning of a global TBC. It can be. Can't be? Can be. Yes, the beginning of a global TBC. Take over. We are the first world country. We don't have the billionaires status that a lot of other first world countries have. You are absolutely right. And do you know what's worse, Dr. Joe? New Zealand was always the guinea pig for all the other countries of the world to test their programs on. Why? Because we had a population that was controllable. Plain and simple. And our prime ministers never say no to implementing, new things that were these Western world wanted to test. I bet you don't know this, but I was watching a documentary on the British family. Now, because of New Zealand is where it's situated in the world, at the bottom of the globe. Now, if by chance London gets hit with a nuke bomb, on standby 24/7, no matter what, on standby is a plane. And the two most important passengers that plane must get take off with, the two most important passengers are Prince William and Prince George, his son. Two most important people. And they will be flowing out of that country so fast. And where will they land, that plane? In New Zealand. That I know. Anyway, so that is all I've got to talk about. Oh, and getting back to my daughter. Yes, I too, like Jules, and I always make sure, I always ring her up and I say, "Cuz, are you doing what I told you to?" Can you see it? Yep. We drink the water too. I'm a distributor for that. So what has it done for me? I will give my testimonial out on that water soon. Not just yet, because I'm still in the testing stages. It has worked on me, but I am at the lower level in testing it. Wait until I go to the maximum of testing that product by drinking that water. Dr. Joe says, Jacinda, New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern, she's just had a new baby daughter. Beautiful, beautiful. Neve Chowdaha. Love that name. Jacinda may just be the difference that we have all been waiting for since Nostradamus predicted that a woman will lead the people out of poverty. Whoa. Wow. I hope that's true. Her heart is in the right place. And since she's just become a mother, her hormones will be all over the place. So my motto is get in and get her to sign everything in sight, because she will. Because once, very soon, a lot of departments that have been there to help the Māori people will disappear or merge with all the other departments, government departments. Okay, I want to thank my beautiful people that have joined me today in the chat room. Really, really interesting there. So thank you today for joining me. Doc Joe said, yep, LOL, yep, admin, get over here now. True. Thank you again for allowing me into your computer screen. So this is Sharon Weller from Perth, Australia, saying good night from you to you all. I'll see you the same time tomorrow at 4 p.m. and we'll talk about a totally different topic. Well, probably not, but bye for now.